Chapter 11. How Christians View Death. But neither should we be put to death, nor would wicked men and devils be more powerful than we, were not death a debt due by every man that is born. Wherefore we give thanks when we pay this debt, and we judge it right and opportune to tell here, for the sake of Crescens and those who rave as he does, what is related by Xenophon. Hercules, says Xenophon, coming to a place where three ways meet, found virtue and vice, who appeared to him in the form of women. Vice in a luxurious dress, and with a seductive expression, rendered blooming by such ornaments. And her eyes of a quickly melting tenderness said to Hercules that if he would follow her, she would always enable him to pass his life in pleasure and adorned with the most graceful ornaments, such as were then upon her own person. And Virtue, who was of squalid look and dress, said, "But if you obey me, you shall adorn yourself not with ornament nor beauty that passes away and perishes, but with everlasting and precious graces." And we are persuaded that everyone who flees those things that seem to be good and follows hard after what are reckoned difficult and strange enters into blessedness. For vice, when by imitation of what is incorruptible, for what is really incorruptible she neither has nor can produce, she has thrown around her own actions as a disguise the properties of virtue and qualities which are really excellent, leads captive earthly minded men, attaching to virtue her own evil properties. But those who understood the excellences that belong to that which is real are also uncorrupt in virtue. And this every sensible person ought to think both of Christians and of the athletes and of those who did what the poets relate of the so-called gods, concluding as much for our contempt of death, even when it could be escaped. Chapter 12. Christians proved innocent by their contempt of death. For I myself too, when I was delighting in doctrines of Plato and heard the Christians slandered and saw them fearless of death and of all other things which are counted fearful, perceived that it was impossible that they could be living in wickedness and pleasure. For what sensual or intemperate man, or who that counts it good to feast on human flesh, could welcome death that he might be deprived of his enjoyments, and would not rather continue always the present life and attempt to escape the observation of the rulers, and much less would he denounce himself when the consequences would be death. This also the wicked demons have now caused to be done by every evil man. For having put some to death on account of the accusations falsely brought against us, they also dragged to the torture our domestics, either children or weak women, and by dreadful torments forced them to admit these fabulous actions which they themselves openly perpetuate, about which we are the less concerned, because none of these actions are really ours, and we have the unbegotten and ineffable God as witness both of our thoughts and deeds. For why did we not even publicly confess that these were the things which we esteem good, and prove that these are the divine philosophy, or prove that these are the divine philosophy, saying that the mysteries of Saturn are performed when we slay a man, and that when we drink our fill of blood, it is said, as it is said we do. We are doing what you do before that idol you honor, and on which you sprinkle the blood not only of the irrational animals, but also of men, making a libation of the blood of the slain by the hand of the most illustrious and noble man among you, and imitating Jupiter and the other gods in sodomy and shameless intercourse with women, might we not bring as our apology the writings of Epicurus and the poets? But because we persuade men to avoid such instruction, and all who practice them, and imitate such examples as now in this discourse we have striven to persuade you, we are assailed in every kind of way, but we are not concerned, since we know that God is a just observer of all. But would that even now someone would mount a lofty rostrum, and shout with a loud voice, be ashamed, ye who charge the guiltless with those deeds which yourselves openly could commit, and ascribe things which apply to yourselves and to your gods, and to those who have not even the slightest sympathy with them. Be ye converted, become wise.